Well, hello. My name is Angelle Wood, and this is Crime of the Truest Kind. Hey, everybody. I'm dropping in your feed today with a major break in an unsolved case that I have been talking about. Well, every opportunity I get to talk about Charline Rosemond's case. I have been talking pretty much nonstop on every episode or live show about her case. Those of you who are familiar with Crime of the Truest Kind and listen regularly, you know that I talked to her sister Rose and did 2 episodes about her case last fall, the unsolved murder of Charline Rosemond from Everett, Massachusetts. Her family's from Everett. She worked in Brighton, and she was found in Somerville. Quick backstory to her case, though I would like you to go and listen to the episodes that I released a few months ago. In October of 2024, I spoke at length with Rose, Charline's sister. Episode 71 and 72. Please go back and listen. And we talked all about Charline and her case. How 15 years had passed since Charline's murder. How it remained unresolved and the impact it had on her family. She was found in Somerville 6 days after she disappeared, on April 13th, 2009. She was 23 years old. She was very hardworking, and she had a number of goals that she set for herself. And I guarantee, given the opportunity, Charline would have reached and surpassed those goals. There were things that we knew about Charline's case. We knew she had $4,000 in cash. Charline had made the plan to go look at a Lexus, a car that she was very interested in buying. It was priced, well, incredibly good, and that saying, when something's too good to be true, it is. $4,000 for a Lexus that evidently was worth a lot more. That story always raised my red flags. And I asked Rosemond, Charline's sister, when we spoke about her case, was there really a Lexus at all? Or was that just merely a ploy to get Charline somewhere with a stack of cash so they could take advantage of her? On Thursday, April 10th, Middlesex County District Attorney Marion, Middlesex County, Massachusetts, announced the arrest of a man who's being charged in Charline's murder. I will share some audio from DA Ryan's press conference on the afternoon of Thursday, April 10th.
Just a few days after the 16th anniversary of the death of Charline Rosemond, we today identified and charged a person with her murder. Heinsky Anacreon, who is 38 years old, of Malden, was indicted for murder for the shooting and killing of Charline Rosemond in her father's car in a parking lot in Somerville in 2009. What we know about this case is that on April 3rd of 2009, Charline, who had been looking for a new car, had told friends that she had a friend who was going to connect her with the kind of car that she wanted at a good price, went to the bank. You can see at the top of that poster, on April 3rd, she went to the bank, she withdrew $4,100 that she was going to use to buy that car. The investigation revealed that, as I said, she had intended to buy a used black Lexus. And part of what she had told her friends was that in order to get the good deal she anticipated getting on the car, she would have to pay cash. That's why she had made that large cash withdrawal. There was no cash found with her the time her body was found, suggesting that the motive was robbery. Investigators learned that the victim had been in negotiation with someone who she considered one of her closest friends, an individual named Roberto June, who is now deceased. and a third party, later identified as Mr. Anacreon, to make the purchase of that car. In interviews with the police in the ensuing days after her disappearance, both June and Anacreon denied that they had been involved in her death. A search warrant was executed at Mr. June's residence, and it did not recover a firearm, but it did recover 2 hard cases used to store firearms, a pair of latex gloves. Also recovered during that execution of that search warrant was an empty bottle of Moet champagne, which you see in that photograph. There was a lengthy grand jury investigation conducted in this case. Witnesses were identified who revealed that June and Anacreon had lied to the police when claiming that they had no knowledge. Mr. Anacreon had also allegedly told folks that he had disposed of the murder weapon, the gun that was used on Miss Rosemond, by throwing it in the river. State Police Crime Scene Services investigators carefully examined the interior of the Honda. Analysis indicated that Roberto June was a potential contributor to a DNA swab mixture that was recovered on the passenger side interior door handle. Investigators also learned that on the night of April 7th, 2009, in the immediate aftermath of the shooting of Miss Richmond, June and Anacreon had shared a celebratory bottle of Moet champagne, consistent with the bottle that was recovered during the execution of that search warrant. The defendant allegedly continued to try to conceal his involvement in this incident from prosecutors and police, telling Miss Richmond's family as well as investigators that he had no idea about what had happened, had not been present, did not know any of this. It is an indication of our continuing commitment, as we've indicated for a number of years and what led to the creation of our cold case unit. When you come into Middlesex County and take someone's life or commit another serious felony, we do not forget and we do not give up. And I know that there are families who are still waiting for a call like the call we were able to make this earlier today to Miss Richmond's family to tell them that despite the passage of 16 years, we were now able to begin that journey to accountability. But it is a testament to the work of the detectives in this case who never gave up on looking. It is a testament to the work of Dave Solid and our cold case unit, hundreds and hundreds of hours of piecing this investigation together to get to that place. And it is another in the litany of cases that we are being able to get to answers for families and accountability for folks decades after the crimes have been committed.
Highlights that I pulled from District Attorney Marion Ryan of Middlesex County and the cold case unit that she established years ago, talking about Charlene's case. Almost 16 years to the day when Charline was discovered, shot to death through the back of her head in her father's Honda, parked in a parking lot behind Midnight Convenience in Union Square in Somerville. How that even happened, I have a lot of questions. I have said all along that that is a high traffic area, and for a car with a murdered woman to be left there unattended for 6 days and no one notice, that's impossible. Boston 25 News says this. On the day she was last seen alive, Charline planned to buy a car with just over $4,000 in cash. That has never been found. Charlene's family tried to file a missing persons report with the Everett police, where they live. They knew something was very wrong when she didn't come home that night. And once she didn't show up the next morning and didn't report to work, her family knew something was terribly wrong. Days later, 6, Charline was found. She was murdered behind the wheel of her father's car, parked in an apartment building parking lot in Somerville. D.A. Ryan detailed Thursday that the shot that killed Charline came from the back seat of the car, going right through the driver's seat headrest. Investigators learned that Charline had been in negotiations with someone whom she considered one of her closest friends, Roberto Jude. A man named Heinsky Anacreon has been arrested and charged with first-degree murder in her case. Roberto Jude's DNA was found in the Honda that Charline was killed in. And because this now deceased man, Roberto Jude, was a known friend of Charline's, finding his DNA wasn't alarming to police at the time. Investigators thought They were friendly. There are probably several other occasions where they may have hung out in that car. Certainly, I don't know what the investigators thought. But that's why this case has gone unsolved for 16 years. After Charline was robbed and murdered, these two men allegedly shared a celebratory bottle of champagne, drinking to ending a young woman's life. Evidence that was gathered indicated that Anacreon knowingly, intentionally calculated to obstruct this investigation, telling Miss Rosemond's family, as well as investigators, that he had no idea what had happened. He had not been present and did not know any of it, according to D.A. Ryan. This is incredible information, and it completely derailed my day, I will tell you that. I first found out when I contacted Rose, Charlene's sister, because D.A. Ryan was scheduled to speak and give updates on two Somerville cases, two unsolved Somerville cases. Charline Rosemond's 16-year-old unresolved case, and Deanna Kremen's case that has languished for 30 years unsolved. Deanna, we are coming for you next. Now, we are a long way from a trial. This is just the beginning of this new stage for the Rosemond family. But I can tell you that I am so relieved for them to get this information. This has been very difficult for her entire family. Charlene's family will be meeting this Sunday, April 13th, the 16th anniversary of when she was found in Somerville in her father's car. 3 p.m. in Union Square in Somerville, Massachusetts. I do plan to attend. Justice is often slow, and we have much more waiting to do before there's a verdict in this case. But I will be here every step of the way, because Charline deserves justice. Her family deserves justice. There's no such thing as closure. Not any nice and neat, pack it and put it away kind of closure. These things stay with families for the rest of their lives. But it is incredibly important they have charged this man with Charlene's murder. Though her friend Roberto Jude escaped prosecution in life, I'd like to believe there is a special place where someone like him might go. Everybody has their own personal hell. Maybe it is a recording of my 5 dogs licking their feet all at the same time. Hearing that in a constant loop is enough to drive anybody bananas. I don't know about hell, and as a kid I went to church a lot, but I will tell you this, you don't need religion or even spirituality to know right from wrong. To set up a friend to rob and murder them and then celebrate with champagne toast after, unforgivable. I can't see anything good happening for you. I will be following this case. Thank you for listening. My name is Angelle Wood. This is Crime of the Truest Kind. Massachusetts and New England crime stories, some history, and always advocacy focused. There are a number of ways you can support this show. Follow on social media, share it online, post about it in your Facebook feed and in the groups that you chat in. On Reddit, I see podcasts suggested on Reddit quite a lot. That would be lovely if you would do such things. You can drop a tip in the jar, give the dogs a bone, help keep this train on the tracks. Become a patron. 4 tiers starting at just $1. You get me to things like AdvocacyCon, which I went to last month, and the NOVA training I am in to become a credentialed advocate. I will be going to the True Crime Podcast Festival, which is in Massachusetts this July, and Danvers as a matter of FAQ. Please come. More about that later. And please leave a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts and all the places you're allowed to leave a good review. Just the good ones, please. I am working on new interviews and new episodes and new live shows. And my focus is always on advocacy because advocacy is key. All right, listen to the episodes that I did with Rose, Charlene's sister, in the feed 71 and 72, I believe. All right, I gotta go. Lock your goddamn doors.